Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kind of a public service announcement here. No playing in this video because I'm sick, unfortunately, for the last few days. Nothing major, just like a pretty bad head cold, actually. But in any event, the point I'm trying to make, or that I wanted to make today, was I have a number of followers at this point, and I think that's outstanding. And thank you so much for following. But what I wanted to say in the public service announcement here is you need to take what I'm saying and doing in context, right? So I'm sure a lot of folks out there are, real players and are trying to become, real horn players or more studied horn players. Everything I'm doing is kind of not that. So what I mean by that is I don't play in any kind of band. I don't play in any kind of orchestra, nothing formal at all. So as I'm listening back to one of the videos and listening to what I'm describing, it made me think, I'm like, wow, what I'm doing is pure soloist work only. And I don't even mean like a classical soloist because, I'm thinking as I'm listening to this last video that I was watching, and I'm talking about like how I'm ending a note and using vibrato and not using my tongue and all this stuff. And I'm thinking while I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, all of that stuff is written in music, right? So the composer, when they write sheet music, they will put in there how you're supposed to play it, right? There's not really interpretation in that regard. There's, crescendos and pianissimo and forte and, the note runs and the rests and how you attack it. Is it staccato? Is it slurred? Those kinds of things are written for you in the music. So, the things that I say, well, while they work well for me, what I do is I compose so if you don't follow any of my actual music, like the YouTube stuff and the horn playing is just something that's fun. But, what I really do is produce music, right? So I'm a producer, and you can see that little thing in the back there and the records on the wall. I produce mostly digital and electronic music. I happen to get into lo-fi because it's very jazzy and I'm like, ooh, I can play horns on this. But the bulk of what I do is all done, through the digital realm. And more importantly, I write it all. So I can do whatever I want is, I guess, my point. And I guess I should say that or mention that more often because I think it's an important thing to call out. Because so many folks have been looking for kind of direction and how do you do this and how are you doing that? And, it's really made me stop and think. And I'm like, I have no idea how I'm doing that stuff. I'm just doing it. So it's not that anything I'm doing is hard or really unique. It's just the way I play. And I think it's worth saying that however you do things is what makes you unique and what makes you your kind of player and gives you that unique sound. I'm all for just kind of owning and being who you are, as much as I strive to be like the folks that I think are just outstanding, like, Roy Hargrove or Miles Davis, Chris Bodie. I really like a lot of even Herb Alpert. I'm a big fan, of guys like that. But we're all different, right? And for me, I've some time back come to terms with the simple fact that, I am who I am. I'm not Popeye the Sailor Man, but kind of, right? What I do is what I do, and I've chosen to embrace that rather than fight it. I think I always strive to be better and work on new things so that I don't get too kind of stuck in one, linear or, omnidirect, kind of just like into one path, so things get boring. But at the same time, what I play is what I play, and that's all I have to offer. And I'm good with that, is my point. So I think you should be too. And I love all the questions asking about how I'm doing things or what I'm using for this or that or the other thing. But I think it's only fair to call out the context, right? What I'm doing probably would not work in any other setting but what I'm doing. Right? If I were to go play in an ensemble or a chamber band or some of the stuff as I think back when I was younger in school and did this stuff, like none of this, I would have gotten thrown right out. There is no interpretation like this. It's play what's written. So just if that wasn't obvious, I wanted to say that to everybody because I really appreciate the interaction that we're having here. And I don't want to be misleading anyone or make you think like anything I'm saying means anything more than how it applies to the music that I played on. So with that, that's it. Have a good night. Thanks.